1 month ago, I started a 3-month body recomposition journey. And body recomp, if you don't know what that is where you're aiming to gain muscle and to lose body fat. Also, excuse the ring light in my glasses, but I'm so happy that you're here. Make sure to subscribe or follow along with the podcast. This is called It's Bailey. This is my podcast / YouTube. It's kind of a mix of both my businesses. It's where health and hormones combine with faith and business, but today's episode very much is in the health realm. So I wanted to share my progress updates of what realistic progress looks like after 4.5-ish weeks. So I took my first progress photos May 4th, and today it is June 2nd, so almost a month. So I'm going to show you guys progress, thoughts on that, talking about kind of realistic progress, what that looks like. Because I don't think a lot of people, like just even looking at my clients when they start working with me, I feel like a lot of them have very skewed mindsets of what progress should look like. And then we're going to talk about how I achieved those results. Okay, so diving into my first progress photo. And please be nice if you don't have anything constructive criticism or kind to say. If it's just going to be rude, do not leave the comment because I'll probably just delete it. This is my page. So as you can see in this first photo, I can really tell in my abdomen, there's less fat, a lot more snatchy. You can kind of see more stomach definition. Okay, so then going to my second photo, my side photo, same thing. You can tell a lot less inflammation and less fat in the midsection. And actually, I have a scale that shows you kind of where you hold your muscle and your fat. And my arms, apparently, according to the scale, my arms have like a normal, healthy amount of fat. My legs don't have enough fat. And then I hold all my weight in my midsection. That's very true. I have very long arms and legs. I'm almost 5'9". And my midsection is kind of like how I describe my body type is it's how kids draw, it's a little extreme, but how kids draw people where it's like a circle and then like arms and legs. I've always had very thin arms and legs. So going to the back photo, I don't want to show my whole butt because there's weirdos on the internet. But as you can see, again, waist, a little bit more snatchification. My upper back looks about the same. And then my other side photo, you really can tell in here how much my waist just like shrunk in. And I actually went down a pant size. I don't even know if I want to share what size I am because I don't like people comparing themselves to other people. And same thing, like I'm not sure if I'm going to mention my weight. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind on that. But the stats now, I lost 4 pounds. And since I gained 1 pound of muscle, according to my scale, it's not 100% accurate, but since I gained 1 pound of muscle, I lost 4 pounds, I would assume, of fat. If it wasn't muscle, fat and water weight. I'm sure not all of it was fat. I'm sure some of it was like water retention because I have been eating healthier. I've been eating, I hate saying less carbs because carbs aren't bad, but I've been eating less junk foody, processed, simple carbs, less super salty foods and processed foods, a little bit healthier. But my mindset, and we'll get into that, is very much like I eat whatever I want. I just portion it out. But those are my results. Now, that is very much as a personal trainer. I went to college for kinesiology, exercise, fitness. I have my nutrition certification. I think I mentioned I've been a personal trainer. Like I've been in this field for a really long time. That is very healthy fat loss. If I was my client, I'd be like, yes, healthy fat loss. So again, it depends on if I was to be 300 pounds or if I was to be 180 pounds or 130 pounds, you're going to be losing weight at a different rate depending on how much weight you have to lose. But in general, especially if you're someone who, I don't even know the proper terms to use. Like I'm not overweight. I am a healthy weight right now. I'm just wanting to kind of have fun and customize my avatar and be stronger, lose a little bit of midsection fat. As someone who has already a healthy body weight, I would say healthy fat loss would be about like 1/4 pound to max 1 pound a week. And that is what I lost with the 4 pounds of body fat and water weight, was about 1 pound a week. And then on average, gaining muscle, I'd say, again, it depends on the person, but like a half a pound to a pound, pound and a half a month, I would say on average is what you would see. And I fit within that. So I'm very proud of myself. Now, could I have gone more extreme and gone in a super extreme deficit, super extreme cardio and lost more weight? Sure, but that's not sustainable. I'm not going to be doing that long term. That's not going to be a lifestyle. I would have gained that weight back. I want this body transformation to be something that sticks and stays and is sustainable, that I can upkeep, because what I'm doing is part of my lifestyle. So going into that, how did I achieve this before and after in about 4.5 weeks? I'm getting out my little laptop because I have my notes in here. So number one, I was in a calorie deficit. Now, without giving you exacts, because again, I don't want people to like copy the exact same thing as I did, because my body is so uniquely different than yours. But my maintenance, I'm an active, tall girly. My maintenance is above 2,000 calories, like my total daily energy expenditure. So my deficit was around 2,000, slightly less. At the end of the day, even if you get done the most intricate body scans and tests, I truly don't believe anyone knows the exact amount of calories their body needs to be eating to the exact number, because we're not robots. We're like humans. Our bodies change. There's so many different variables. But of course, you can find like a guesstimate. So my deficit, without giving super specifics, slightly less than 2,000, but kind of around 2,000 calories a day. And a big thing with deficits is you want to be looking at the weekly average versus day to day. So maybe one day I'm eating 1,900, next day 2,100, next day 1,850. Because again, we're not robots. We have different activity levels and whatnot. And as women, like with the different phases of our cycles, our hunger goes up and down. So I take the weekly average for my deficit. So I followed that deficit for the whole month. I tracked every day. I use the scale. My mindset with tracking is so healthy. The whole last year, I've been intuitive eating. And actually, I didn't mention this at the beginning, that doing a body recomp for someone who already works out and is fit can be a little bit harder than someone who's a newbie working out. It can be easier to like be in a cut and lose weight, or be in a bulk and gain muscle. It's a little bit harder to do both at the same time, unless you are someone who's taken a break or you've been at maintenance for a while. For me, I was intuitively eating. I was eating in my maintenance, if not a little bit of a surplus, because I was really focusing on hormonal health the last year or so. I had a foot injury. I got diagnosed at the ripe age of 28 with arthritis in my left foot. And so I've been navigating that. So the last several months, I have barely been working out because it hurt to walk alone. So now that I found treatment for that, and I've really offloaded my foot for a while, since I've been really back in the gym and now in a deficit, I'm kind of having those newbie gains. So doing a body recomp is a lot more realistic for someone in my position, for example, or someone who just hasn't worked out and taken things seriously, done progressive overload, watch what they were eating tracking wise. It'll be easier for you, if that makes sense. But I was in a deficit, tracking very accurately every single day. Now, tracking is a great tool if you're using it correctly. If you're using it as a way to track your self-worth and be obsessive and a freak about it, which that used to be me, obviously, yeah, that's not very healthy. But I view it just as very neutral data. If let's say I hit my calories for the day and I'm still starving, I'm gonna eat a snack and I'm not gonna feel bad about it because I'm listening to my body. Granted, while you're in a deficit, a little bit of hunger is normal, but a ton of hunger is not normal. That means your deficit is way too big. So still listening to my body, but tracking accurately, because how I see it, if you're gonna go through the effort of tracking your food every single day for every single meal, you might as well do things right, AKA tracking all your food throughout the day versus like tracking breakfast and lunch and forgetting dinner. Then what's the point of tracking? In the sense of like tracking your calories for a deficit. But anyways, like I find using a scale very easy because I hate having to dirty cups. So using a scale, really measuring things like butter, oil, the sugar I put in my coffee, more highly caloric foods that if old me would eyeball those foods and eat more than I should be eating in a deficit. So was in a slight deficit, very maintainable deficit, but I tracked accurately to make sure I wasn't overdoing it portion size through eyeballing. I wanted to mention, I still ate hot dogs. I always love saying, like, for my clients when you work with me, I want you to be able to eat a freaking hot dog, sip an espresso martini, and build a hot hormone balanced body that you love. And if that is like what you want in your life, I'd love to have you as a client. I'll put in the show notes or in the description a link for my coaching application. But a girl still ate hot dogs, drank her espresso martinis, because I truly have the mindset I can eat whatever I want as long as I portion things. I'm a big believer of the 80-20 mindset, 80% whole foods, 20% soul foods. Last week, my boyfriend and I, a crumble cookie. I'm not gonna be the kind of person who's like, oh my gosh, one crumble cookie is 1,000 calories. I can't eat it. Like, I just portion it out. Obviously, I still got really good progress over this last month. So for my workouts, I did 4 workouts a week, at least 3 of those being lifting. I had an upper body day, lower body day, full body day, and a HIIT day. But sometimes that HIIT day, I'd switch out for cardio or going to a workout class. And on top of that, sometimes I'd go to like a Pilates class. So I'd have 4 to 5 days of movement, and then 2 full rest days, which is so important, so vital that you have those rest days. So your muscles can actually rebuild and you can go into your lifts and give it your all. Now, what I want to mention, the last year or 2, I have not been doing progressive overload. I've been maintaining my muscle mass. I've been doing workouts I really enjoy, but for this body transformation, and if you're going through a body recomp, like, you need to be doing progressive overload. That's why going to boot camp classes, Pilates classes, yoga classes, strictly alone without any structural lifting on top of it, people don't always necessarily see the body transformation they're wanting to see at the rate they're wanting to see it at, because it's harder to do progressive overload, where you're either lifting heavier, doing more sets, more reps, better form every single workout. So the last 5 weeks, I've been doing the same workout program that I program for my group coaching clients, doing it alongside with them. And every single week, the goal is just to do a little bit more. And it's crazy saying week 1, again, since I didn't lift for a while because my foot injury, I was doing Bulgarian split squats, like with just my body weight. And I was ending with holding like a 30-pound weight, which is crazy how much your body can change in just the span of 4 weeks if you're being so intentional. Now, if I was going, like, where I live, there's like a class called High-Low, which is a boot camp class. There's different stations, and it's so fast paced, and since it's guided by a coach, I find progressive overload is harder because, again, they're controlling it. It's fast paced. You're kind of just grabbing whatever weights are at the station. Or when I go to a Pilates class, I love Pilates. I love yoga. I taught yoga for years. It definitely can make you very strong, and I think it's a great movement. But as far as, again, wanting to see a body transformation at a certain rate over the span of a few months, it's, again, harder to have that progressive overload where you're controlling lifting more every single workout and every single week. So that is why at least 3 of my workouts are those progressive overload, intentionally lifting heavier. I do the same exact workouts week 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next month in I'll program. That's the same thing I do for my clients, because if you're doing random workouts week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, again, it's just really hard to know that you're doing progressive overload, getting better at the movement, really pushing yourself in that movement. Yeah, maybe by week 4 it gets a little bit boring, but that's why I switch it every about 4 to 6 weeks. On top of that, movement wise, I work for myself. I have the last 5 years. So since I do sit in my office most of the time, I am very intentional with walking my dog and getting in steps. According to my phone, I average around 7,000 steps a day. So I'm sure that's helped a lot since I'm not sitting on my booty getting like 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day. So yeah, guys, that is my transformation. That is how I achieved it. At the end of the day, it's so simple, but it's actually executing it. When you're tracking your food, being honest with yourself, really pushing yourself workout to workout. And I'm not saying group fitness is bad. I go to at least 1 group fitness class a week, if not 2, but I make sure I have those 3 structural workouts a week where I can really focus on lifting heavier, doing more reps, having better form, not rushing myself through like a boot camp class where it's like dark EDM music. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Or like a Pilates class where like there's only so many resistances on the reformer. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you yourself are on a body recomp journey, or you're into business, faith, health, hormones, I'd love to have you as a follower, subscriber, and have a great day.